What it do, everybody? This is your boy KQKC Boxing Network, and we are in it. This is the morning show, at morning after show, everybody. With Knockout Boxing and KQ and KC. Yes, sir. All right, what's going on, Knockout?
Oh man, I'm chilling. I'm chilling. I thought about changing my name from Knockout to the Prediction King, but I stuck with Knockout this morning. I'm gonna stick with it. But I'm doing good, man. I'm doing lovely. Got a little bit of bread last night, and
Yes,
we
sir.
ready. We ready to cook this morning, man.
Yes, sir. Most definitely. We're gonna wait till everybody get their notifications, and I know they started coming in now. Of course, I know that everybody had a long night. Everybody listened to what this and that said, but hey, I have to eat crow when crow is met. And I have seen, and I went around last night before I left, to get the show ready for today. I went out for a little bit last night, but I had seen a lot of asinine shit last night. I'm sorry, but
Oh shit.
I mean, I understand, but we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. All right. I want to jump the gun.
Yeah.
All right. I want to jump the gun. All right. First of all, let's see who all up in here. All right. We get this roll call brought to you by none other than Knockout Boxing 86 TV and KQKC. All right, we're gonna start all the way from the beginning, baby, with Crush the Legend. What to do, Crush? What's going on with you? Yes, sir. We got Damian Webster. Salute and good morning to KQKC in the chat. Congratulations to Gary for being a great champion. Yes, he has been a great champion since 2014. We talking about, man, 6.5 years. Matter of fact, let's say 7 years, because he only had 2 more months to go. All right. So, and also we got Artwork Willis up in here. Big Texas is up in here. What's going on with you? Non-fat fitness is up in here. Shadow 979 is up in here. What's going on? We got Bowler up in here. What's going on, Bowler? Yes, sir. Ricky E245 is up in the building. What's going on, Rick? Yes, sir. Mr. Mechanical is up in here. We got the sensei. We got the sensei. We got Stormy B Man up in here. Yes, sir. He will be coming on right after us today or this morning. All right. Yes, sir. Get that snow up, Stormy. Get that snow up. All right. Now we got the Supersonics Gaming with Slick Rick the Ruler. Slick Rick is pretty much batting for the Seattle Supersonics. He's an old school, new school rule type of dude. That's right. All right. Now, who else we got up here? We got Same Fight, Different Round up in here. That's right. And we got Windy City Assassin. What's going on, Windy City Assassin? We got Albert Daltrey is up in here. We got AD Alvin Davis is up in here. Yes, sir. And I'm your daddy. I'm your pappy, whatever you want to call him. He's up in here. What's going on? I'm your daddy. All right, salute to you. Jose Diaz is up in the building. All right, so that's what we got so far. And everybody else should be getting their notifications as we pretty much go on through this show. All right,
Yes,
so
sir.
what's going on with you, Knockout? How you like that fight last night?
Man, it was a great card. I didn't like, and I'm sure we'll get into this. I
Mhm.
didn't like I don't like when injuries basically determine a fight, but
True.
I knew that's what could happen going in, which is part of the reason for my pick. But overall, man, I respect the heart of Gary Russell, the effort of Magsayo. If anybody deserves a rematch, it's Gary Russell Jr. And I hope we get to see it. I hope they don't just let this man run off. That's how, like, all the stuff that we've been hearing behind the scenes. That's how you would know it's true, right? That's how
Mhm.
you would know that Al Heyman, Floyd Mayweather, whoever it is, somebody really got something against Gary Russell Jr. You'll know that
Yeah.
to be 100% fact if he's not
Mhm.
able to get a rematch simply off the strength of, like, he was the longest reigning champion that we had at the time.
Mhm.
You could clearly see he was injured,
Mhm.
and for him not to get a rematch, considering all those factors, that would be some bullshit to me. But overall, the card overall, it was
Mhm.
entertaining as hell, man. I enjoyed myself last night.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was entertaining, and Gary, like I say, he was a good champion, and like I say, I mean, since 2014, he has been a champion. I get it. He only fought once a year, but still. We had once a year that turned into a loss a year. I mean, it doesn't matter because he still was in that gym every day. He still was calling out fighters every day. He still was calling out this person, that person. We almost had a Devin Haney and Gary Russell fight. I mean, we always got close to the tipping point, but it never tipped the teapot over. So therefore, hey, listen, he took it and he took the loss as a champion should be, with no hard feelings. And he did go in there, and he did go in there without no one in his corner. He did have a cut man and maybe a little his brother on the side, pretty much giving water, stuff like that. But that's all he had, and he trained himself. So, but I'm not making no excuses. I got to eat my crow this morning. But we're gonna start. We're gonna start with the first fight, and we're gonna work
Mm-hmm.
ourselves down to the main event. All right, all right. Knockout. Okay. We got the first fight. How you feel about the first fight? We got the man King Tug and Lucas.
Yeah,
Okay.
King Tug, man, like he just not it. He just not it. And so that silver medalist shit with the amateurs that he won, that's cool. Like, but a lot of times amateur success does mean that you'll have professional success as well. But I don't think that's gonna be the case for him, man. He don't let his hands go enough. His feet are very, very flat, and he gets in these lulls where like he fights to the level of his competition, and to me that's never good. That's never good when you fight to the level of your competition, because people that are going to be champions or people that are going to be really top contenders, if you ain't supposed to be in there with them, they show you that you ain't supposed to be in there with them. And he don't do that. Like, he was fighting a guy who took the fight on 10 days notice, who had no experience outside of Namibia, which is, no disrespect to Namibia, but our brothers over in Africa, they ain't known for their boxing and shit. Like, they ain't known to have a good program. So he took the fight. He came over here, 27-hour flight, all the way from Namibia over here to basically beat your ass if you want to keep it a buck. Like, I felt like King Tuck was winning the beginning of the fight. I felt like he had a very good first 4 or 5 rounds, but then he just allowed Lucas with the same 1-2 over and over again to keep hitting him, and he couldn't get out the way of it. He wouldn't throw shots in between it. And in my opinion, he lost the fight because the one thing I want to talk about in that fight, like, I don't know where they get these referees from, but the referee missed the knockdown in that fight.
Exactly.
Easy knockdown the call. And it's cool. Like, if you miss it in the moment and you like, okay, that's a slip, that's cool. But what really kind of wrecked my nerves is after the fight, when they was trying to show him what happened or whatever, and he was like, "Oh no, I didn't." I see this punch right here by King Tut, and then boom, he slipped right there. Like, what, bro? What you talking about? Like, and they showed it for him like 3 or 4 times. It was cringe worthy to see him not be able to admit his mistake. So to be honest with you, I'm not for anybody losing their job or whatever. But what I will say is that ref probably need to go work a bunch of non-televised fights and then work his way back up to maybe getting a big fight. But I don't want to see him in any fights of any consequence with any top contenders for a while, because that lack of self-awareness, like, how hard is it to just get up there and say, oh man, shit, damn, he did catch him with a punch. I missed that one. I missed that one. You know what I'm saying? And then with technology in 2022, this to me speaks to a bigger problem in boxing. Like, they take all these timeouts and shit, right, for some bullshit, like some tape around your wrist or
Right.
mouth fall out or whatever like that. Where's a ref on the sideline or a ref on the outside of the thing to say, hold up, we need to take a look at that real quick. And everybody got replay, and everybody can take a look at it and say, oh no, that was a knockdown. Because I'm willing, I like for, you know what I'm saying, the I'd be okay with taking time out of a fight and slowing the fight down, just if we can get the call right. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather us get the call right than just keep the fight going, because that man came and put on, and you cost him the opportunity of a lifetime. Like, he should, instead of a draw, he should have a victory. With his performance in that knockdown and the way the scorecards came out, if they had got that shit right, he had won today. So it is what it is, man. You know what I mean? But overall, that was a very good fight, very entertaining, a nice way to open up the card. I just wish that we weren't having to talk about a missed knockdown, because that was clearly a knockdown, and Lucas clearly should have won that fight.
That's right. That's right. I said to myself, I said, here we go again. Here we go again. I mean, we talking about every other fight now. It's starting to be a problem with the referees and problem with the judges. Either one of the two. It's always an issue, bad scoring or a bad call by the referee. And you're right. When you make a live call and then you see the replay, you say, "Oh man, I missed that." So hey, man, my fault. I missed it. And hopefully, I won't miss that again. And but still, he made it up at the end of the round or some shit. At least make be honest. That's
Mm-hmm.
all. That's all we ask. But I'm sorry, but you are refereeing a fight, a pro fight. You must be a pro referee. So
Fact.
therefore, it's no room for mistakes like that. I mean, everybody make mistakes, but you got to be pinned on. Some referees stand out far. You need to be up in there, not too close where you can get hit, but you need to be up in there and watching everything that goes on. You can't see shit all the way in the back. And and you watching from afar. Then you get in there when they tangled up. You trying to run over there and bust them up. But I mean, it's no mistake with that. It's no if or answer but. But let me ask you this, knockout.
Yeah.
Do you see boxing, and if it's good for boxing for number two, if they have the instant replay like they do,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, that's good. That's great for listen, it's more important to get the call right. At the
mhm,
end of the day, if as a boxing fan, if you watching the boxing match, anybody in the chat, and y'all smash the like button for us as y'all come in here. Anybody in the chat that's watching the boxing match, us up here talking this boxing, me and KQ. If I'm watching the boxing match, the thing
mhm,
that I want more than anything is for everything to be right, where I can walk away from that boxing match knowing that the right person won and that there wasn't no bullshit in the game, right? So if that means
right.
instant replay for us to get a call right on a knockdown, if that means judging, an extra judge, or judges got to watch on TV like the rest of us so they can see every angle and they all watching the same fight, which is
Mhm,
another thing I don't understand. Why would you make them watch the fight from different angles? They see different shit, and so that's why the scores be inconsistent as hell. But whatever, bro. Like, but yes,
mhm,
instant replay should be in the sport of boxing because it gets the call right. Like that's what and then sometimes in NFL games they'll still miss the call, but you should be doing anything that you can to make sure you don't mess up the competitive integrity of a boxing match, man. Because that's the worst feeling in the world as a boxing fan when you know somebody
mhm,
won or somebody got robbed out of an opportunity. And I'm not the type of boxing fan to where I want to be right on my prediction so much, or I want my guy to win so bad to where I forget about the integrity. Like I'm like, oh no, bro, shit, it helped my guy out. So whatever. Nah, bro. Like I picked King
mhm,
Tut to win. He got a
right,
draw, but he
mhm,
should have lost the fight, bro. I should have an L today because that should have been a knockdown. And I think that boxing fans more than anything just want to get the calls right and they want to clean up the sport because that's what boxing is lacking. Like you always, when it comes to a decision like that, you always got an asterisk. Like, damn, bro, did they cheat
mhm,
him out of that knockdown because he was the replacement opponent? Like, what's up? Like, what's going on? And then it
right.
stopped. Great. That's a great story and a great upset from happening. I'm not saying he can do this, but what if that was going to propel him to get a bigger shot? Then he upset another dude. Then he
That's
get a
right.
bigger shot and he upset it. Now we got a world champion that we never saw coming. But you never get to get those opportunities if people don't get the calls right when they should get the call right. So that's just kind of
Uh,
how I think about the situation, man.
yeah, yeah. But Lucas, he was overthrowing his right hand. I admit that. But like I said before, I gave you an example of Deontay Wilder and Bermain Savern. How Wilder he didn't get the knockout because he was going for the WBC belt. So what he did, he boxed, and what he did, he used that long 84-inch reach jab, and that jab alone got him 2, maybe 3 rounds. In
Mm-hmm.
the books for him. That jab does work. And what Lucas did was, hit or miss, he kept the jab coming. He kept the
Mm-hmm.
jab coming. And he was catching Tug a couple times. And he caught him that time with the knockout with that straight right. So, but, you got to get it right. You got to get it right because you're not going to be there again. Maybe, how boxing goes, the politics of boxing, so I mean, come on. Give them young guys, because these are young guys, and this is a young sport, and you got to give them a little. Be fair. You got to be fair, and this goes for the judges too. The
Yeah,
outrage
think
in
about
court,
it.
man.
Think
Come on.
about it, KQ. Think about it. So he flew 27 miles, right? Or 27 hours all the way from a
Right.
whole nother country. Like
Hmm.
people forget that, like he probably got a family that was like watching that whole, or maybe they couldn't watch it
Right.
because they in Namibia and shit. And when
Uh,
it do get back to him and they see that he was robbed, man, just imagine what it does to them. Like I think sometimes we forget that boxers are people too and shit. That was an opportunity of a
right.
lifetime,
Yeah.
in a way to another payday. Now he probably got to go do a whole nother job. We might never see him on TV again when we probably should, because he probably should have a victory. So it is what it is. But I think sometimes we forget that there's a whole nother side to they got to go home to people and shit. They get cheated. They train hours and days in the gym away from their family and shit, and then they end
Mm-hmm.
up all I want for them is for the judge and the ref to get the shit right, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So it is what it is, man.
Yeah, yeah, that's how I felt about the fight. So I mean, it could have been more exciting, but Bola said, "Hey, Lucas is 37 years old. Okay, well, he fought like he was younger than that last night.
Yeah.
And 37 it doesn't give you a lot of room for success. Give you a lot of rooms to work yourself up into a eliminator or to a championship fight. It
All
just don't give you
facts.
a lot of rooms.
All
You
facts. So
know.
when I hear he
Mhm,
37 years old, that just made me
mhm.
think, damn, bro, he might never get another opportunity again. So that makes it even more messed up, in my opinion. Shit.
Right,
He
exactly.
came out there almost 40 years old and beat the shit out of that dude.
That's
He
right.
don't get nothing.
That's right. And his family was
He get
there.
a plane ticket right back to Namibia, and we'll
Hmm.
probably never see him again.
And
That's
he
messed
probably,
up, man.
and that paycheck, I know it wasn't no millions of dollars, whatever, but it's probably the most he ever seen by
Mhm.
coming over here in America. And that money goes a long ways in Libya, so if you know the country. But okay, let's move on. We got two more fights to talk about, and we're going to talk about the future fights. We're going to talk
Yeah.
about the fights that's coming up in the next month, later months. I mean, the next 2 months. So we got a lot of good fights coming down the pipe. So what you think, man? What you think about that co-main event, baby? Wow.
Man, listen, man. It was definitely fight of the night. It was
Yeah.
definitely fight of the
Yeah.
night.
Mhm.
Matias and Ananyan. Look, I told you to go watch their first fight. I said you gonna
Yep.
like this fight more
I
than any
told you.
fight that happened tonight, man. And
Uh-huh.
their styles just went so well together. And if you guys go back and watch the first fight, you'll see that Matias, that first fight, he was beating the shit out of Ananyan in the first 5 or 6 rounds. He was beating his ass
Uh-huh.
until he got hurt. And
Uh-huh.
so we knew going into the fight that if he don't get hurt, man, it's gonna be a tall order for Ananyan. And
Uh,
Matias, he killed well, he didn't kill the guy tragically, Maxim Dashadev or whatever. He's the guy that was in the ring with him. He the one that ended up, when he died or whatever. That was him.
mhm.
His punches have killed people before. So I got
Right.
about the round 5 and round 6. I like, damn, bro, like I ain't for them stopping the fight, but this dude getting his ass beat, man. You can see it
Yeah.
in his face, you can see it all in his body. These is thudding shots that Matias keep hitting him with, and it was,
Mhm.
man, it was tough to watch from a worrying about is he gonna be okay perspective, because sometimes you can be too tough for your own good, and he was clearly losing the fight. I remember I was talking to W underscore right side in your chat, and he was like, "Man, you giving Matias every round." I was like, "Yeah, bro, his shots are having a better effect. He's much more effective than this other dude. He pushing him back and he trying, but he just keep getting tagged and keep getting tagged." And the key for
Mhm.
Matias was he started going to the body, bro. When he was going to the body, the whole fight, I was like, oh, it's only a matter of time. And I said,
Yeah.
give it a round or two. It was about round 5 and round 6. I was like, give it a round or two, bro. And then
Yeah.
sure enough, he just kept beating that dude up. And you can only take so much punishment. I don't give a damn how tough you are. And to
Mhm.
Ananyan's credit, he hung in there. He kept fighting, but he just didn't have enough. And you can't. Matias is such a disruptive fighter. He's such a It's gonna be hard to not fight his fight because Ananyan can box, but he never had room to box because Matias just kept coming at his ass. He kept coming and kept coming and kept coming, and he punches so much. He punches 80 times per round. So if you can't keep him up off of you with your skill and your lateral movement, he gonna make you fight his fight. And if you get into a war with him on the inside, he got great hand speed. He got combinations that he throw nonstop. He was throwing jab after jab when he wasn't throwing combinations, and he just chopped that dude down like a tree, man. He chopped him down like a tree. And Mr. Mechanical is right. This is fight of the year so far for me. We got a lot of great fights coming down the pipe, but this one right here, definitely so far, we only in January. This fight was the most entertaining fight that I saw this year so far. And salute to both of those brothers, and salute to Matias, because a lot of times when you a hot contender like him or a top prospect, you'll look at a loss and you got 2 big wins after that loss. You're like, man, I ain't running that shit back. I'm not risking that shit. He was like, nah, I need to get back in there with the dude that beat me. And not only did he get back in there with him, he stopped his ass, bro. he made it where it was no doubt, and he caught him. And the messed up part of Ananyan was like he was hanging on tough, and he got caught right at the end of that round. It was like he got caught with 1 second left with that left hook. He damn near went to sleep, man. The doctor came over there and said, nah, he can't follow my eyes. He out of there. He out of there. He got to go. Because he would just go, listen, that's a good stoppage, because let me tell y'all what was going to happen. I passed the KQ. I passed to my OG. All that was going to happen was he was going to go out there in round 9. He was going to get the shit out of him, man. He was going to go out there in round 9, and he was going to get his ass beat. I don't care what y'all try to tell. I don't want to hear shit about they shouldn't have stopped it. He could have came back. All that shit, man. Look, he was out on his feet. He was already getting his ass beat. He would have went out there in round 9 and took about another 30 to 45 seconds of punches that he ain't need to take. He was gonna get his ass whooped in round 9 anyway. So great stoppage by the ref. By the doctor. But great job by Matias. Look, up there at 140, he's the number 2 ranked contender in the IBF. After that performance, he might move up to number 1. He's a problem with the way he fights. Because, think of the matchup between him and Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor can box. He got better skills, but Josh Tayller will dogfight with you. And if Josh Taylor get in a dogfight with him, that's an interesting ass fight, man.
Yes,
that's an interesting ass fight. I'm curious to see what's next for him, and he on to the next. But great job for him, man. Great job for him. That was a great fight, man. Very fun fight to watch. You couldn't even call it. Like, hit him with this, hit him with that, hit him with that, hit him with that. You couldn't even take a breath. Shit. You couldn't even take a breath when you was calling that fight, man.
You ain't lying. I mean, I try to catch every punch, man, but they was throwing, and both guys were letting both of their hands go. And like I said, Matias, he was doing a great job. Now, what he was doing, and I think the referees right there on the mat looking, he was hitting with short, precise punches. He didn't have to stand that. Sure, they was bumping with the shoulder. And the ref, you know what? Shout out to her, because she let them fight.
She did.
She let them fight. And yes, she let them bump each other, make room to punch. She let them allow them to do that.
She did a lot better than that other dude that we were just talking about. She was a lot better than his ass.
You damn right. Right. And then she gave Matias a warning twice.
She gave him 3. She gave him 3 warnings, and then she finally took a point.
Exactly. Now, of course, Nana, he came in aggressive. He was throwing hard blows. Now, Matias, he came to high guard once he got against the ropes. And then he started letting it go. Then he got thinking. Then the IQ, the ring IQ kicked in. He started stepping to the side as he got against the ropes, because that's what Nana was doing, bumping him, pushing him back. Then he tried to get off the rope, push him right back. Then he stepped back out and brought it right back to the center of the ring. And there the punches go. Now, this is what happened with Nana. Now, I keep telling everyone, the body shop is a lost art. A lot of fighters need to start going to the body. I'm talking about round 1. Now, it's okay to mix it up. It's okay to throw them off balance. But that body shot, make sure you get a couple in here or there in round number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way up, because it's going to pay off dividends at the end. And this is what happened with Nana. He was tired. He got beat up and tired at the same time. That's why he couldn't even close his damn mouth when he sat out, right? He was so tired. He was so tired, and he was beat up, So Matias, he did a great job. He didn't keep the chin up in the air. It was getting up there a little bit, but then he had pretty much had to catch himself and brought it back down, and then they started going right at it again. Not too many jabs, not too many clinches. It just was leather flying back and forth, and it was kind of hard to keep up with the punches because after one, here come another, after another, here come another one. So I mean, hey, it was a good fight. It was a very entertaining fight, and I will tell you this: knockout boxing. Earlier that day, I was out. I called and talked to him, and he was telling me about that fight. He said, "You need to go look at it." And I went back and looked at the first one. I said, "God damn! I hope they're gonna go and put on a performance like that tonight." And man, they did.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
said,
sir.
man, I'm excited about this fight. Knockout told me about it, and because I wasn't too familiar with the fighters, I wasn't too familiar with them. They wasn't really like stand out, but man, they let their hands go, and that was super featherweight. So man, I mean,
It
this
was
is.
super lightwait. It was
I mean, super light.
140.
I mean,
OG.
super. Yeah,
Yeah,
super
yeah,
lightweight.
it
I'm
was
sorry.
140. Mhm.
But now, I mean, TC. I think he's going to be an issue. Once he go in there, because he's a brawler, no doubt about it. But I think he can box also. So we'll see. We'll see what more to come for him. But still in all, it was entertaining. And matter of fact, I would say that would be the best fight of the year so far. Now,
Mhm.
let's see Ken Estrada and Gonzalez. That's my favorite fight last year. I can't wait for
Mhm.
that fight. Man, I can't wait. I'm just excited, man. I'm like a little kid and think about Christmas. I'm thinking Santa Claus coming. Because
I
I
heard
can't
that. Yeah,
wait.
that shit.
Yeah,
That shit. They're
man.
gonna be. That's gonna be a firefight. That fight gonna be so much fun to
Yes,
watch,
it is,
man.
man. But knockout, you was right. That was an entertaining fight, and you're right. You gonna like that KQ, and I loved it. I loved it, and like I say, it was fun to call too because there was a lot of action in it. It wasn't nothing finesse. It wasn't nothing special. It was just some power. It was just punches flying, and they were trying to land on each one. And I wasn't no pop, pop, jab, one, tap, tap, right. No, no, no. They was pushing in combinations. We talking about left, right, left, right, left, right. So
Everything was. They
yeah.
was trying to knock each other ribs out their body and trying to knock
Yep,
each other head off their shoulders with every punch they was throwing,
that's
except
right.
the jab. They would set. They was jabbing. They would set
Mhm.
the shit up with a jab, but everything after that, they wasn't trying to just pity pat. They were trying to knock each other head off, man. That shit was. That was.
Mhm.
That, I love those styles. That was a fan friendly fight, man. It was
Oh
a fan
yeah.
friendly fight for sure.
And one thing I liked about Matissa, he got a point taken for a low blow, but
Mhm.
when play commenced back in, he went right back to the body.
Yeah,
He went
he
right
had
back.
17. Listen, he had 17 knockouts and
Uh,
17 victories. He like, I don't give a damn about no point deduction. I'm coming to
yep,
stop you, bro.
yep.
I don't care. I'm beating your ass.
That's what
And
the
he felt like he
mindset
was
was.
winning the fight so much. He like, I don't give a damn, bro. I'm not stopping going to the body. I'm breaking you down. Like, come
Yep,
take another point. Shit. As long as you
yep,
don't disqualify me, I'm giving him this work. I'm giving him
yep.
I'm giving him everything. Yeah, and yeah, Bobo said it. I was gonna bring it up later, but you know it, your fight, man, Estrada and Chocolatito, it got postponed.
Oh
Yeah,
man, I didn't
they
even hear about
postponed
it.
it. Estrada got Estrada, he ain't been having energy or whatever, and so they
Mhm.
think he might got COVID. He getting tested and shit, but the
Okay,
fight's still on. It just ain't gonna be
okay,
in March. It might be later on in the year. So just
okay,
wanted to say
okay,
that. Bobo, you messed up, man. I got all these questions because we only got one more fight. I got all these things we gonna get to, but since
man,
you jumped the gun, I didn't want KQKC to read it. But yeah, man, it's
man.
postponed. They still gonna fight. But it's because of Strada, he been in camp and they saying he ain't having a good camp because he ain't got no energy.
Wow.
So he
Okay.
got some sort of illness. They gonna disclose it. Eddie Hearn and them supposed to let us know this week what it is, but that fight has been unfortunately postponed for us boxing
Yeah.
fans. They had another fight card that was pretty good. That was
Mhm.
supposed to be a week or two later on the zone. They just gonna move that one up. So we'll still get
Okay.
boxing that weekend. We just won't
Right.
get the fight that
Right.
we want.
Okay. Okay. But hey, look, that second fight I think was the most action packed fight on last night
Yeah.
out of all three fights. Now, all three fights had different elements to it. All right, action pack, a pretty much a chess match in one fight, and the other fight is pretty much on what can I land, and Lucas was overthrowing his right hand, so each fight had something to do with the way they was fighting, so but that was a good fight, and hey, congratulations to Matias, because he lost that first fight, but then he came back and retained his win back. So,
Mm-hmm.
but now we got the main event. And like I said, I have seen a lot of asinine statements being made last night, this morning. And I'm like, what
Yeah.
the hell? So what you think, Knockout? Tell me, what you
Yeah, I know
think
we're
about
gonna get
that?
to all of that. It's a lot to unpack after the fight,
Mhm,
but I'm just gonna stick to the fight for right now, y'all. Then once KQKC break it down, then we'll get into all the shit we've been hearing. I got a lot of questions and a lot of different conversations based off of this fight. But as far as the
mhm,
fight itself, listen, Magsayo came out when Gary Russell had both of his hands. Magsayo had a very good first 2 rounds when
mhm,
Gary Russell had both of his hands. He had a very good first 2 rounds, but then Gary started turning up on him. And I felt like Gary won the second, the third, and fourth round. But
mhm,
then Gary hurt his shoulder. He hurt his shoulder. And it
mhm,
was something that he told us going into the fight. And so he
mhm,
couldn't throw his right hand. He was a one-handed fighter
mhm,
from about round 4.5 to round 12. And then from round
mhm.
6 to round 12, he didn't throw a jab at all. He ain't throw one
Right,
single jab, and this is a fighter that we used to seeing throw somewhere between 28 to 40 jabs per round. If you go
exactly.
look at his statistics, so Magsayo was just able to take advantage of that. He was able to be busier. He was able to land more shots, but not impressive at all. Like he wasn't impressive with it. He was falling out. He was falling out over his feet, getting out of position. And Gary Russell still did enough to where he countered him, effectively with his left hand. But it's hard to win a fight with one hand, man.
Mhm,
It just is. And if you guys go look at it, Magsayo threw and landed more punches in every single round. So it was Gary made it close enough. The fact that the scorecards came out so close, that's a testament to Gary Russell Jr.'s skill and his ability. But Magsayo just outworked him. He
mhm,
outworked him, and in my opinion, it was because of the injury. But at the same time, if you go back to the breakdowns and the predictions, I told you guys, I said, look, man, he got all this stuff going on with him. I don't know what's gonna come back to bite him in the fight, but I'm just not confident with all this stuff going on. He's gonna be able to overcome all of it. He looked focused, right? So he
mhm,
was able to overcome the stuff that was going on with his family. He looked like he was in shape. So
mhm,
missing on the scale, that didn't do nothing to him. But he also said he was injured, and that injury came back to bite him. You know what I'm saying? And
mhm,
unfortunately, at the wrong time. If anybody deserves a rematch, in my opinion,
mhm,
it got to be Gary Russell Jr. And I spoke on it at the beginning of the show. But for those of y'all that are just now in here, listen, we will know. There's a lot of stuff that KQ has heard. There's a lot of stuff that I've heard about how he's treated at PBC behind the scenes and stuff. I'm not gonna get into the details, but we will know 100% for a fact he's being blackballed and somebody ain't working in his best interest over there if he don't get this rematch. Because we could all clearly see that he was hurt, right? We could all clearly
mhm,
see that something was going on, and he was your longest reigning champion in boxing. So if anybody deserves a rematch, it's him. And I find it
mhm.
kind of odd. Like, why is he even having to demand a rematch? Like, shit, why ain't that in the contract? Why ain't that in the contract? So at the
Exactly.
end of the day, though, man, he went in there, he got in the ring. So I can't make excuses for him. If he was hurt that bad that where he could re-aggravate it, he should have pushed the fight back. It's just smart business. They don't make you scary. It's just that you could be out there compromised. But overall, I personally feel like the right fighter won. And we'll see what happens next. But much props to Gary Russell Jr. Much respect to him for still going out there, because a lot of guys wouldn't even try to make the fight closer, tried to win. He went out there and he did what he could do. In my opinion, though, just landing the left hand periodically, throwing less than 10 punches around, it wasn't enough.
Mhm,
It wasn't enough. So, but Magsayo, I'm not impressed. He didn't show me nothing to impress me. The first 2 rounds were impressive. I thought he looked good, but he all of a sudden started lunging over his feet and he couldn't take advantage of a one-arm fighter. So, I definitely think Russell will probably beat his ass in the rematch if he's healthy. That's just my opinion, and that's pretty much my take on it, man.
Okay. All right. Well, my take on the fight is, like I said, Gary. He was facing a lot of things against him, but before that, let's talk about the fight. Though the fight is that Gary did not let his hands go like he should. Yes, he was
No.
firing that left, but one at a time. You have to throw in combinations. You have to fight. You cannot win with 64 percent of your punches when he got 100 and something percent of his punches. That's landing, So, yes, Gary was playing more defense than offense last night. Now, he was looking like he was trying to survive in there. That's what it was. I came front. I had Gary winning, but Gary lost. I mean, it is what it is. I don't want to hear that he got robbed. I saw that. He got robbed. No, he didn't get robbed. No, he lost. I'm sorry, he lost. That doesn't mean he's not a great champion. Don't get that wrong, because he was a hellified champion. He was a damn good champion. That's why Leo Santa Cruz didn't step to him. That's why Mikey Garcia didn't step to him. Because his style of fighting will give you issues, give you problems, especially when he was younger. But still, Gary was going in, he was going out. Now, Magsayo, now, he was smart, and Freddie Roach, I'm quite sure he gave him the directions. I couldn't hear, but I think he told him, look, just throw, but throw more punches than just one. And that's what the judge is probably looking at. Okay, well, he threw 4 or 5 punches at a time. And when you throw 4 or 5 punches, you just land one or two, then you can pretty much make the fight yourself. But Gary was pretty much fight on the back foot the whole fight. He would pretty much look, dodge, feint. Now, as far as his jab goes, he used that as a feint slash rangefinder. He put it out there. He put it out there like this. But you got to move it. Okay, you have to move it by law. You got to move it. And so he had it out there. And then he blocked and go down, bam, and get out. One shot at a time. I called it last night. One shot at a time. Gary with another left. One shot. Gary with another left. One shot. Gary with another left. One shot. You got to throw in combinations. You cannot win a fight like that. Now, someone I saw said, hey, you got to beat the champion. Well, how you going to beat the champion and the champion's not throwing? You see, how can you beat the champion and the champion's not throwing? And that's what I'm saying, that he just didn't let his hands go. Now, I'm not looking for excuses, but, fighters are human. They are human just like we are. Just like Knockout has his job. And let's say him and his wife might have disagreement, or something might be bothering or whatever at home or whatever. That shit follows you to your job.
Facts.
'Cause it's
I'll
a
take off work. Shit.
right.
We all got to take off work. I ain't trying to deal with y'all today. I'm already
Yeah.
pissed off. I ain't gonna talk to her crazy, but let y'all come with me while I'm already pissed off. Shit, I'm
Right.
taking that on you. They gonna be like, damn, why you acting
Yeah.
like that? Shit, hey,
You're
I ain't
right.
gonna talk to her crazy, but one of y'all gonna get it. Shit, I'm gonna take out my frustration on somebody. Goddamn.
And that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
your mental fortitude, your mental, you just can't turn it on and turn it off. I'm thinking about Chi-Town Finance, how he had a few missteps in his family, and I'm praying for him. And you can't turn off sorrow once, then turn it off and turn it on. Okay, well, I'm on my way to work, so right now, okay, I'm gonna turn it off. Everything gone. Right now, you can't do that, and that's the point I'm trying to make. Now, whatever the problem may be, it's still that he lost the fight. There's no way around it. He lost the fight. So I mean, but still he was a great champion. You can't take nothing from Gary Russell Jr.
At
No,
all. At
not
all.
at all. Yeah, okay, he fight once a year, but still, when he does fight, he is dominating. He is dominating, and he still have time to pretty much get back in position in eliminator or something like that, because I still think he's still in the top of the rankings for the WBC. So But we'll see. But with Masayo, I don't think he's gonna hold that belt that long.
Hell no, they looking at him
No,
like food. Everybody like shit. We want a shot at
exactly.
the champion. They looking at him like straight food after that because he wasn't impressive at all, man.
No, not at all. He missed a lot of shots. He tried to load up on all the shots. And then, when you miss, he missed so bad that he spent his own ass around. So I mean, that ain't the next Manny Pacquiao. I'm sorry. It's only one Manny Pacquiao. It's only one Floyd, one Earl Spence. Everybody has something different that they carry in their boxing career. Stop trying to imitate or emulate another fighter. Be you. Be you. And so what else you got knockout now? What you think about everything the naysayers were saying last
Yeah,
night?
I wanted to touch on that, and then that's a great question, St. Louis Mix. When we read that super chat, we can cook on
Mhm.
that as well. But so the robbery,
Knockout. Let me read this super chat
yeah,
real
no, go
fast.
ahead,
St. Louis
go ahead.
Mix said, "Salute OG and KQ. Can y'all all cook on the similarities and differences between Gary versus Magsayo and Tank versus Crew? Why Tank won and Gary didn't?" All right.
Damn. Yeah, that's a great question. So,
Yes, it is.
I'll get to it. Let me cook on this. St. Louis,
It's
let
good
me
to
cook
see you,
on this
Tank.
robbery shit. Then I'll answer that question. So, the
Yeah.
robbery shit, right? Like,
Mhm.
you know how I feel on this KQ, and for those y'all in the chat that's always here and rocking with us, too. But for those y'all that are new, this is how I feel like that word got to be reserved for when something like that actually happens, so that when you say the shit as a content creator or as a boxing fan, the shit will mean something, right? So in my opinion, like you say that for stuff like what happened with Michael Fox. You know what I'm saying? You say that shit for stuff like what happened with Consejo versus Valdez, where they let the man test dirty. They let him fight anyway and keep his belt. The judges
Mhm.
were awful in that fight, and Consejo clearly outboxed him the whole fight. You save it for shit like that. When you can look at a fight and it's close as shit, because this was a close fight. Like, it wasn't the most entertaining fight, but it was close. And then you can go look at, you can clearly see. Let's throw the punch stats out of there. I won't even look at them, but you can clearly see
Mhm.
that Magsayo was throwing more punches and landing more punches, and Gary
Mhm.
Russell Jr. was throwing less punches and landing less punches. And they
Mhm.
don't just score the fight on that; they scored on ring generalship. So if you're a judge, you looking at the shit and you like, okay, Magsayo is coming forward. Gary Russell ain't throwing shit. So in my opinion, he's showing ring generalship, and Magsayo must be controlling the fight. Because why Gary ain't throwing shit? So when you
Mhm.
factor in all those factors, bro, I can't call it a robbery. I save that for when I feel like it's really warranted and it's clear as day. Like, it's some shit that you can't take away. You can't even say nothing else. So that's how I feel about the robbery shit. I feel like, to me, that's, we all was rooting for Gary Russell Jr. Just because I picked Magsayo don't mean I didn't want Gary Russell Jr. to win. However, I'm
Mhm.
not gonna come up here today and be, in my opinion, was irresponsible and say it's a
Mhm.
robbery just because I'm trying to push a certain narrative or say something,
Exactly.
that I think people want to hear. I'm gonna tell you what
Mhm.
I really think. I think it was a close fight. I think
Mhm.
that if you scored it for Gary Russell, you're probably scoring it because you liked his defense and you liked his pop shotting. And I feel like
Mhm.
if you scored it for Magsayo, you like the fact that he was busier. You like the fact that he landed more punches and he seemed like he was the more aggressive fighter. Like, I feel like he could have went either way. Me myself personally, I scored it 115 to 113 for Magsayo. I thought there were some rounds in there that
Right.
Gary did land that left hand enough. I thought there were
Mhm.
some rounds in there that he did show great enough defense, but
Mhm.
I gave the fight to Magsayo. That's how I saw it. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I
Mhm.
saw it. And so for that, I think we got to stop that. In Windy City, that's cool if you got that opinion. You feel like he was following Gary around and couldn't cut off the ring. Cool. But is it a robbery though? That's the question that I'm attempting to answer. Like, is there no way possible that you can get that fight to Magsayo? And that's just not the case, man. There's a very good case to be made that he won the fight. It's in the numbers. When you look at the numbers, it's in the way the fight played out. It's in all of that shit. So that's my thought on the robbery. As far as Gary versus Magsayo and Tank versus Cruz, St. Louis mix, my opinion is this: Gary had a hurt shoulder, so his hurt shoulder that keeps you from throwing the punch. Tank just had a hurt hand, so he could still bluff a little bit. He could still
Right.
throw out his punches to be able to get leverage and land the other shit that he was trying to land. Also, Tank didn't stop throwing both of his hands until probably like round 9 or round 10. Even though he hurt it in round 6 and he wasn't throwing it as much, he really just only was a one-handed fighter for like a round and a half. Whereas Gary, you go look at his stats, he didn't jab at all. Round 6 through round 12, so like 6 or 7 rounds, he didn't throw a jab at all. Like not one time, one single jab, one single right hook. So he was a one-handed fighter for the majority of the fight. So it's harder to pull that shit off. Your shoulder, like if you a boxer, you rather your hand be hurt than your shoulder be hurt, because your hand can go numb and shit, bro. Like you can throw that shit enough if it's broke or something like that. Now it's gonna swell up on you and shit, and the next day you gonna feel that shit. But in the middle of the fight, once it go numb, you can keep throwing that hoe. Your shoulder though, that's what gets you. That's what actually throw the punch. So if your shoulder's messed up, you can't throw that shit at all. And so to me, that's the difference between the two fights, and that's all I got on those two situations, man.
Yeah. What's going on, Skywalker? Tim
Salute, Tim.
He said, eating that crow. Yes, sir. Me too, Tim. Don't worry about it. You ain't alone. All right. Just pull up a chair and have a plate. All right. Now he said, you're a prophet. Knockout boxing 86. Well, I don't know about all that.
I appreciate that. Hey man, let the man talk. Let the man say what he got to say. Hey Tim, I'm gonna be listen. You was there Friday night. You know, KQ was there. A lot of y'all was there. People was giving me a hard time. I'm gonna be talking shit on a lot of panels, man. I'm gonna be going to a lot of channels and a lot of chats. I'm gonna be talking shit, and I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing, all right? You know what I'm saying? But let me ask you this, KQ, because I wanted to I got a few
let me touch on this robbery.
Go ahead. Okay, I thought do that. Then I got a question for you, man.
Okay, now I just saw someone say BFTB and Fanon. They was talking robbery, everything. Okay, well, I'm not gonna say anything bad about them or anything like that. But that's their point of view, right? And this is my opinion. It wasn't a robbery. Okay, like I said, how can you rob somebody that didn't throw any punches? That's not a robbery. Then I heard conspiracy. How's it a conspiracy? And I don't think it's a conspiracy. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, Gary was doing one shot at a time. I said when I called the fight, which it was a chess match, basically. Yep. And what happened was, you know, you weren't gonna get that excitement in that main event, not like you got in the co-main event. I mean, it's just what it is. You know, you gotta have a lot to work with. But still, in all, he still was throwing one shot at a time. Get out. Now you gotta throw in combination. You gotta throw and put together your punches, and he didn't do that. Now, it seemed like he was more on a defensive. Now, don't get me wrong. Floyd used to do it all the time, but Floyd had that pistol-like right hand also when he blocked when he used the defense. He also come right behind with his offense. But Gary was pretty much getting out of there and always on the back foot. So he was playing defense all night, pretty much keep away all night. So, I mean, it wasn't no conspiracy. It wasn't no robbery. He just didn't throw a lot of punches. That's just the basic and gist of it. That's it. You know, that's it. It wasn't a conspiracy. That's what it is. That's what it was. You know, as far as that it was a robbery and all that, no, I have to disagree with Fanon. I have to disagree with Best Fight to Best. And I know he's LDBC, but still, you know, I told you, you know, hey, everybody got a different mindset in the LWC. And my mindset say he lost. Okay, he lost. And yes, he lost fair and square, but that doesn't take away of his ring IQ. He had a great ring IQ. He had great defense. That I liked last night. That's one thing about it. He didn't get hit with silly shots. As he back, he had the high guard. Then he go in there, he had the high guard before he throw. So then he used to throw, you know, with the left 1, 2, 3, 4 jabs at a time, you know.
Yeah.
But, you know, this time, last night, no, one at a time. So, I mean, so it was what it was. It was a good fight. Didn't get knocked out, anything. But if you look at the punch output, you can tell that it wasn't a robbery. He just didn't throw a lot of punches. That's it. That's the gist of it. You can't get around it. You can't say he got robbed because he didn't get robbed. I mean, how can you rob somebody that don't throw? So, but go ahead, knock out. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and then my last point I want to add, I want to start on these questions and keep cooking on the ins and
Okay.
outs of this fight. The last thing I'll say is this: like when it's a 7-5 fight, either way, if
Mhm.
you tell him there's a difference
Oh,
between you.
hold on, knock
Oh,
out.
go ahead.
We got 87 people in here. Make sure you hit the like button. All right. Make
Smash
sure.
the like,
Yes,
smash
sir.
the
We
like.
got
It's
90
free.
people. 90 people in here. Smash the
It's
like.
free, y'all. Smash that like button. But if
Right.
you say you got it scored for Gary Russell Jr. and you had him winning the fight 7-5, and you had him win 115 and 113, I respect that. I respect that. Like, but it's the robbery word. I think that's where the difference is. It's the robbery word. Like robbery, that's serious. That means that somebody clearly got cheated and that it wasn't a close enough fight to where it could have went the either way. Like it wasn't a robbery to score Brian Castano versus Jamel Charlo a draw. That was a close
Mhm.
ass fight that could have went either way. And I wouldn't have been mad if one of the other fighter won it. You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing here. Like if they scored it for Gary Russell Jr., I'd have, in a close ass scorecard, I'd have been like, all right, shit, they gave it to him. Or if they scored it a
Right.
draw, I'd have been like, all right, shit, they gave it to him and they scored it a
Right.
draw, so that's cool too. But it was a close enough fight that it could have went either way. Like robbery is, I just think every time somebody that we support loses, we can't say it's a robbery, man. That just,
Exactly.
it's not, because then when you start saying the shit and it's right and it's real, people ain't gonna want to hear you because they're like, you just doing what you do all the time. You always say that shit. So that's why I try
Mhm.
not to say that shit unless I really mean it and it's some shit that I really feel, I need to speak on. But go ahead and catch the super chat. Then I got some stuff I want to ask you, man.
Okay, we got double underscore right side in the super chat. Yes, sir. I appreciate you. I'm not singing the super chat because I want to take up a lot of time, but salute, fam. We have been fans of boxing over boxers. Gary Russell Jr. He was the better fighter, but the jab is the most effective punch in boxing. Most definitely. The jab always set up every punch, basically. Everything comes behind the jab. You're right, right side. Everything comes behind the jab. Like I said, when you put that jab out there, you're pretty much using it as a measuring, or you can pretty much see how far you need to throw your right, see how far you can reach him. So everything comes behind the jab. So yeah, you're right. So, but one thing about it, Gary, he didn't throw a jab. He put it out there. He pawed it out there. Then he came with the left. And you know how you always do, jump in and throw 2, 3, 4 piece of left hands. Well, he wasn't doing that last night. He was trying to
Mhm.
throw one, get in, and get out of there. And that's what he did. So, all right. And I appreciate the support. All right. Okay. Go ahead. Knock out.
All right, man. So Gary Russell Jr. lost, and one of his rivals
Mhm.
didn't even they ain't care that he was injured. They don't care about nothing that he had going on outside the ring.
Mhm.
Devin Haney took to Twitter and he started talking this shit. He started popping shit. He says Mr. Cap, aka Gary Russell Jr., lost to a bum. Do you like Devin Haney kicking the man while he down? Do you have a problem with him? With him, not even he wrote the shit at 11:26 p.m. Like the fight was over at like 11:20. Like he ain't wait 5 minutes, and he already shitting on Gary Russell Jr. Man,
Wow.
what do you think? What do you make of that whole situation? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Do you love it? What's your thoughts on it, man?
Man, you know what? I think it was kind of inappropriate because Devin is fighting that lightweight. It doesn't matter unless you just don't like each other. I don't get it. But I remember when they was trying to get a fight and put it together and build and on Gary, and Gary said, "Stop playing, Shawty. Stop playing, Shawty." I remember that. But as a fighter. And Devin, I like him, but I'm not that big Devin fan like most of the LWC. But I like him. He got a great movement. He's a great fighter. He got a lot to growing up, a lot to learn. But sometimes you have to know what to say, when to say it. And right now, he could have said, "Look, Gary Russell Jr. He been a great champion. All right, he been a great champion, and now tonight it came to an end, or something like that. One thing about it, when you have a reputation, you out there in the limelight, you out there in the public. Sometimes you have to be positive, All right. You don't want people to know you as this guy that hating on another guy. All right. We get it. People don't like each other, and I understand, but fighters are fighters. Fighters need to understand one another. Fighters gotta pretty much, and now unless you fighting this fighter and coming up, of course you're gonna talk shit. I like it. All right, like you said, knockout. You like it when they talk that shit,
I
and
do. I do.
cause that bring it in the ring. That make them come on, let's do it. But I think Devin Haney should have let it marinate a little bit, and step back and let's see what happens. So Gary was very gracious in defeat, and he was giving Magnus a lot of credit. What he say? He has a lot of integrity, and he said what Leo Santa Cruz is lacking because he could never get to fight with Leo. So, but yeah, I think it was kind of inappropriate for right now. Don't kick a man when he's down. Don't do that. That's not going to help you, and not at all. So,
Yeah.
and you're having a hard time right now. See, karma is a bitch. Trust me.
Facts.
The
Facts.
karma is a bitch, And one thing about next thing Gary gonna say, hey, at least I fought once a year. Well, at least I gotta fight at least once a year, So then they're gonna go back and forth, and so karma is a bitch, and be careful, Devin, because you might find yourself out of a fight for 2 years. You might be sitting down for 2 years. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, but also knockout. Think about this. He's
Yeah.
young. He's young. He's young.
He is young. He like
Yeah,
23 years old.
right. He just got his
Yeah, he
driving
young.
license.
Yeah, fact. He just now been able to start drinking
Right.
legally and shit. You
Right.
know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He just got a driver's license, and that's what these kids are doing today. They tough guy, and you can tell Devin's not no tough guy. The way he's talk, you can tell he ain't came from the hood or nothing like that. And but you're not talking up on a fight. You old. You're not in his weight class. Unless Gary gonna move up. But it is what it is. He just it's a lot of hate or jealousy there, and that's it. So hopefully he can keep it quiet and keep it moving. So
Got you. Yeah,
yep.
yeah, yeah. Here's my. You want to catch this super chat from Crunk Juice right quick? Then I'll
Yeah,
cook.
okay. Crook Juice, what's going on, baby? He said, I agree, OG. Mr. Russell did his thing for a minute. Devin would hope to defend his title for all those years as Mr. Russell. That's right. That's
That's a
right.
fact.
Gary,
That's a fact,
Gary
man.
was one of the longest reigning champions, and I'm talking about what, 7 years? 7 years, 6 years and 10 months, 7 years, damn near. So, when you do that, Devin, okay, maybe you can say a few things. All right. And when you reach that age of 33 and still no really serious injuries or anything like that, then you can say that. Okay. So, but until then, please be respectful. That's all I got to say with that.
Yeah. So for me, so I love it, but then I don't love it and I hate it. Like I got mixed emotions. Here's why. I will try to articulate this as best I can. So I love it because as a boxing fan and as a content creator, like it gives me something to talk about, right? Like I love it when they talk shit because then I get to come on here and I get to talk about them talking shit, and I like to talk shit anyway. So talking shit, hey man, like
Talk that shit.
whatever you say that. But here's where, like, if I'm a Devin Haney fan and like a huge supporter, and I don't want to see him lose, and it'll hurt me if he lose, which none of these fighters would do that to me because I'm a fan of boxing. But here's what I say: I'd say you got to be cognizant of the fact of you a boxer too, bro. You are fighting at a level to where you got some dangerous fights coming up in the very near future. And just be ready. I ain't saying he ain't ready. I ain't saying he is ready. Just be ready to where if you lose, people are gonna do that shit. That's number one. They're gonna be like, you get the energy that you give. So if you popping your shit when somebody lose that you don't like, when you popping your shit when somebody, when somebody don't have a great performance, don't be mad if people pop their shit off back at you if you don't look too good. Or if you get, you know what I'm saying? If you lose a fight and as the super chat said, like Gary Russell Jr., he defended his title for a very long time. And as talented as you are, Devin Haney, you ain't done that shit yet. So he's accomplished shit that you haven't accomplished. So I would just temper that and be careful because if you get knocked out or you get beat or something happened to you, man, that's people might jump on that. And then from a business perspective, you got the same fan base. So, what if you have some Gary Russell Jr. fans that was also rocking with Devin Haney? They don't like that Twitter post, and then now you done lost a few fans. And maybe it ain't enough for you to care. But I don't know. In a sport like boxing where it's dying and fans are hard to come by, and being a big star and selling out and shit, that shit is important. In a sport like that, like I would want all the fans I could have. So I'd be doing my best not to piss off my fan base. So I'd probably just play the political card. Like maybe behind the scenes and shit, you might be talking shit to your people and all that shit. But maybe I'll just be like, hey man, that was a great fight. Salute to Gary Russell Jr. But he lost, and maybe he'll bounce back or some shit. Or maybe now he'll take a fight with me or some shit like that. Like I don't know, man. I don't know. I just when you talk that shit like that, if you Devin Haney, man, you just have to be careful because karma is real and stuff comes back to you how you give it out. And you have looked vulnerable in your last two fights. Maybe not against the fighters you were fighting, but you continue to step up in competition. You don't look unbeatable if you him, and you do not want to lose earlier than Gary Russell Jr. Because now what he's done is he put himself in a position to where if you do anything that's not as successful as Gary Russell Jr. So if you can't be champion for 5 or 6 years, if you can't do the shit that he did, then people gonna come at you, bro. They gonna remember that shit. People be pulling up comments and Twitters and shit from years and years ago. So if you lose, your next fight, or you lose you go 2 to 3 fights, and then you lose, then shit, I don't know. And Gary did start it because they've been wishing that each other lose, and they've been talking a lot of shit. Them camps don't like each other. I tell you the best way to do it, if y'all just get a fight, shit, y'all just fight each other then. You know what I'm saying? If it's really static like that, if it's really beef like that, shit, I'd love to see that fight. Get it popping for us. But overall, man, I don't never mind a young man talking a little bit of shit because we get to talk about it. But I would just say, as an older, wiser person now that used to talk a lot of shit when I was younger, I would just say be careful what you put out there because it's gonna come back and people are going to remember that shit. Should you ever slip up, should you ever fail at something, people gonna remember all the shit that you was talking. And that's really all I wanted to say about that, man.
Let me address Picasso. Okay.
Yeah.
Good brother, good subscriber. He says Gary didn't lose. So I'm not heart torn. I'm just not going to support a cheating system. Now, see, this is where a lot of fans get confused. This wasn't a cheat, okay? This wasn't a cheating system at play last night. This was a fair and square fight between Gary Russell and Magsayo, because, I mean, you have to look at the stats. You have to look at the performance. Okay, well, forget the stats. Look at the performance, okay? And look at what Magsayo did. Yes, he missed a lot of punches, but he threw a lot too. Matter of fact, all he had to do is just throw and let his hands go. Hit or miss, that he threw more than Gary. Gary was pretty much throwing that left hand, got in and got out. That's it. He didn't throw in old combinations. He might throw maybe that last one, dun, and that's it, and get out. Now, Magsayo, he did throw one. He did throw 2, 3, and then he was aggressor. He was trying to take his head off, but he did counterpunch Gary. He hit him on the head. He hit him on the left eye where he cut it, right? So, I mean, you have to be, you got to be a boxing fan before a fanboy. And I get what you're saying, Picasso. You probably like Gary a lot, and you've been a big fan for a long time, but you got to be honest with yourself. This is the position that Terrence Crawford in right now. Nobody wants to be honest with this dude that's around him. And now that's what I'm saying. You got to be honest with yourself. I mean, the Gary Russell family, they knew it. They knew it because you can see the expression on their face. And we talking about going into round number 9, they knew. So I mean, hey, it is what it is. So, but I get what you're saying, Picasso. All right, and I appreciate your comment. All right, go ahead, knockout.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off of that again, y'all, like cheating, getting cheated. I just think we gotta reserve that word, man, for when the shit happened. Like y'all gotta, like, it was a close fight. It was a close ass fight, bro. The fight was close as shit. It just depends. The judges just like Magsayo being busy more, and I scored it the same way. You know what I mean? It is what he said. You described WWF
I
wrestling
know,
to
I
me
just
just
did. I saw that.
then. I understand, bro. We just, I'd have to agree to disagree with you on that, Picasso. Like cheated and shit. Like Pernell Whitaker was cheated back in the day against against Chavez. Like that, those are cheating situations to me. Like what happened to Michael Fox, and I named it, a couple of them. Like those is when I'm gonna yell robbery and cheated out of a fight. I can't do it in this situation when it was a close fight, man. But let me get to this. So we got the Juan Estrada Chocolatito fight that was postponed. We already cooked on it a little bit, but OG, are you okay, man? Are you gonna be too disappointed, man? Are you gonna be all right? I know you was looking forward to that fight, man. How you feel about the fight getting postponed, man? Is that something that's
Well,
gonna hurt your feelings for a long time, man?
man, yeah, I'm okay with it as long as they don't postpone it like next year or something like
Yeah,
that. I'm
yeah.
good with it as long as I get to see it within the 6 months of the postponement. Hopefully he be okay and they can reschedule maybe 3 months later. I'm okay
Yeah.
with that. I just want to see it, again. So I'm okay with that,
Okay.
and because I know what they're gonna bring. I know what to expect, and that's the thing about it. I know neither one of them gonna try to fight on the outside. I know both of these guys are right there in the phone booth. I'm talking about, I mean, they closing the door, ain't locking, ain't nobody getting in. That's how they fight. And I can't
Mhm.
wait. So yes, sir. So I'm not mad. I'm not mad at it at all.
What's
So
next for let's cook on this for a little bit because this is interesting to me. So what do you want to see next for Gary Russell Jr.? Where we at? We moving up? We trying to get the title back at 126. What do you want to see as a boxing fan next for him?
well, I like to see him move up. I like to see him move up 4 pounds. 126. I'm gonna have to be honest. Nothing was moving for him. Now I don't know. It's the personal thing with Al Heyman or Floyd. Floyd got Al Heyman ear, so I don't know. But what he gonna have to do is move up to 130. At least he would get more fights that way. And then
Mhm.
of course everybody want. I mean, he has a even though he don't have a belt. Gary Russell has a name. And if you beat Gary Russell, then that's a good name to have on your resume. That's why I say I see Gary fighting at least 2 or 3 times this year. And activity can be a downer, but you got activity can be an upper. And I can see him fighting 2 and 3 times a year. And I'm talking about these are guys that can be calling him out because he's Gary Russell Jr.
Mm.
So that's what I want to see. I want to see him get up there at 130 and fight at that one weight class. And he can do it. He can do it too. He can do it. It doesn't matter the size. If Javante Tank does it, but he got a little more power, but still, Gary Russell Jr. can do it too.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So first thing I want is for him to heal. That's the first
mhm.
thing. Like heal up. If you need to go get surgery, go get surgery. But I'm not gonna lie to
and
y'all.
mentally, and mentally.
Yeah, and get better mentally. Like take care of your pops. Get him good, and just get your head back right, ready to really go do what you need to do to show people who you are as a fighter and a champion. Because he only like people talking about like he old and shit. I heard somebody talking about he need to retire or some shit. I was like, bro, yeah, crazy as hell. That man 33 years old. He got like 33 fights, bro.
Right.
Like 33 years old in 2022 with these fighters not being as active as they used to be back in the day, and with the medical advancements and medical science and shit, man, look, he'll be fine. You know what I'm saying? He need to keep fighting. He got at least another, maybe 4 even 5 years left at a very, very high level. What I want to see after he heals up, he gets right mentally. I do want to see him move up, but not yet. I feel like while I'm saying it was a close fight, and while I feel like Magsayo won, I feel like Gary Russell Jr. deserves a shot at getting his belt back. I just believe he should get Magsayo next, man. He should get
Okay.
Magsayo next, simply off the strength of we all saw he was fighting with one arm. We all saw that. We all saw the issues that he had going into that fight, and there is no way in hell if the PBC won't do it, WBC, get something right for once in your life. This was your long and reigning champion. You can order a rematch. Ain't no way in hell that Gary Russell Jr. should fall somewhere to like 7, 8, or 9 on the rankings and no shit like that. He should be allowed. He should be allowed to fight for his belt back. They should order that shit. If PBC won't do it, then the WBC should step in and order him to fight. Magsayo in a rematch. And Magsayo, if you really like your mentor is Manny Pacquiao. That's who your promoter is and shit. All right. You need to show that same warrior spirit that he showed. You need to run that shit back, bro. It was a close ass fight, and you know you were fighting a one-arm man, and you couldn't fully take advantage of it. You need to get that man his rematch, bro. You need to give him the same shot that he gave you. And I just want to say that I'm highly disappointed. Like, we always laud the well, I ain't gonna say we. A lot of people will laud the PBC and think that the PBC is great, and they always looking out for the interest of their best fighters. I need somebody to explain to me why the hell Gary Russell Jr. didn't have a rematch clause. I need somebody to explain. I need somebody to explain to me why we looking at today and we like, hey man, he should get a rematch. He should do this. I need to know why we ain't getting a rematch. And I see you, Mr. Steal Your Chin, but guess what Eddie Hearn did? Alexander Usyk was a mandatory too. But guess what Anthony Joshua got? The goddamn rematch clause. He got a goddamn rematch clause. So why can't Gary Russell Jr. have a rematch clause?
You know what? Knockout, let me really say this real fast. And shout out to Sweet T. She said Gary usually output would have won the fight. Magsayo didn't really show me anything. No excuses from me. Gary Russell Jr. didn't throw enough. That's right. And that's the reason for the L. That's right. Could have been a draw as well. Okay. All right. Now, with Gary, I believe that they don't want him around anymore. He's been around for this long. And first of all, I'll always tell you all, just like Jamel, when he had the rematch with Tony Harrison, a rematch clause should always been in your contract if you are a champion. That way you have an opportunity to get your belt back. At least one opportunity. You always have to have a rematch clause. Now, why Gary didn't have a rematch clause? I don't know. I can say now I'm gonna play devil's advocate on both sides. Gary needs a fight, so Gary got to fight. But Gary took that fight. Okay, well I take it. No rematch. Okay, no problem. I need to fight. All right. Now that could be a reason. Number two, it could be another reason. They don't want Gary around any longer. He held the belt too long. And so far, hey, look, Gary, look, you can take this fight. We're going to give you this fight. We're going to pay you for this fight. But you don't have a rematch clause. Are you okay with that, Gary? If not, we don't know when you're going to fight. Okay. All right. You know what? I've been out the ring for 2 years. Okay. I take it.
Yeah, that's some BS.
Right. So either Gary looked at it like, okay, you know what? I can beat this guy. But then again, PBC said, hey, keep your fingers crossed. Maybe we have a new champion. And I really believe it's an internal issue. I really believe
gotta
that.
be.
Yeah,
it gotta be because I see people writing, hey, because he's a mandatory. That doesn't matter, y'all. Alexander Usyk was the WBO mandatory for Anthony Joshua. That's how he got his shot, by being the mandatory, and he wouldn't step aside. But guess what? They about to have a rematch because Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua was like, yo, in case we lose, we get a rematch. So the mandatory shit, that don't matter, bro. You can get a rematch clause in the contract.
And the Joshua had 2 of them. He had 2 of them with Ruiz and
bro. Like I'm not trying to hear that shit. And I understand if you Gary Russell, you need a fight or whatever. But it's again, the same shit that I'm saying about Terrence Crawford. At some point, it's your best interest. You know what I'm saying? It's what's in your best interest, and you gotta be like, nah. Why? First of all, why don't y'all want to put a rematch clause in this shit? What's up with that? What y'all trying to do to me? So I don't like it. That really, really kind of rubs me the wrong way. Like, I don't like somebody that's been there. Like, I feel like you owed that shit when you've been champion that long. Like, and I don't like that shit. The man been champion since what, 2014, 2015 or something.
2014. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Mhm.
So if you the WBC or you the PBC, man, all the fights that you made off of him, all the goddamn fucking defenses he done had holding up the WBC. Hell, he had WBC on his damn trunks and on his damn hoodie when he walked out
Mhm.
to the goddamn stage yesterday, bro.
Yep.
And so you mean to tell me after all of that shit, all he done, the man don't deserve a shot at hit. Y'all just gonna let somebody run off that really didn't, like, if we keeping it a buck, he didn't just beat Gary up or some shit. Gary had to
Mhm.
be going through a lot of shit. And again, no excuses. I told y'all, look, he going through a lot. That's a lot to overcome. That's why I'm picking Magsayo. It's a lot of shit going on with Gary right now.
Mhm.
All things being equal, though, I believe Gary Russell Jr. beats the shit out of him, bro. Does him bad. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But overall, though, like, no, that man deserves a rematch. So if y'all want to push for something, let's get off of this robbery bullshit. Let's stop talking robbery and let's push for the
Right.
man to get a rematch. That's what you need to be like. Let's make videos and live streams and let's talk about shit like that, bro. Let's talk about shit like that. Let's get the rematch going, because they just gonna run off on this man, bro.
Mhm.
They gonna run off on this man, and we might never see him have that type of opportunity again. And he got plenty of gas left in the tank, man. And if they don't give him a rematch, then I'm with you, KQ. Move up. Move up to 130 and
Right.
see what you can do at 130. But he definitely need to be chasing that rematch, knocking on somebody's door, trying to get back in there with Magsayo, because I believe healthy, he beats the shit out of him. And just
Mhm.
real quick, Tim Muze, I appreciate you with that $10 in the cash out, brother. But go ahead, KQ.
Yes, sir. But like Sweet Tea said, Messiah didn't show me too much. You
Hell
know,
no.
I mean, I'm hearing, okay, I'm thinking that he gotten better since his last fight, because I think that was the knockout of the year or close to it. But it still didn't show me anything. I saw him throwing and sitting down on punching, missing, nothing but air. And hey, that's credit to Gary, that defense, that ring IQ. And he also made him miss and made him spin himself all the way around. Gary didn't attack. Then Gary started using his angles, started stepping over, started stepping around. He couldn't touch him. So he didn't have great punch placement. That's the number one factor. The number two factor, he's hopping on his leg. He cutting off the ring, but he couldn't cut off the ring that great. He needed a lot to learn about cutting off the ring. Why? Because Gary had a way out every time. When you cut off the ring, you cut off every avenue. So the fighter had no other choice but to punch or clinch. And that didn't happen. Now, another fighter that's a taller fighter would give him big, big problems. And don't be a big puncher at featherweight. That's gonna give him a big problem too. So that's all. That's all I had with that. And David Webster, I appreciate you in the super chat. He said, "I bet Al made that Santa Cruz unification now." Oh yeah, oh yeah.
100.
One.
100.
Yes, sir. There you
I
go.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree wholeheartedly with that shit. Like, bro,
Yep. Hmm.
that's some bullshit. One thing I wanted to ask you about. So Bob Arum comes out and he says, um, he want to try to make Deontay Wilder versus Jared Big Baby Anderson. This is what he
Yeah.
said. He said Wilder is a terrific talent. He hits like a mule. Tyson Fury would attest to that. The one guy who will be equipped to beat him by the end of this year is Anderson. I will be prepared to discuss a potential Wilder versus Anderson fight by the end of this year. We are grooming him to be the next heavyweight champion after Tyson Fury. What do you think of that, man? Do you think that he's serious about making that fight? And if so, do you give Jared Big Baby Anderson a chance to beat Deontay Wilder?
Um, you know, uh, uh, um, yeah, he says about making that fight, and I believe him. Now, Deontay Wilder, big puncher, no doubt about it. Now, we're gonna argue about his boxing skills, but one thing about it, he does have that one hitter quitter, that right hand. Now, Big Baby Anderson, always active, always ready to go, always ready to fight. Now they want to put him to the test. They want to make sure he's the real deal Holyfield. That's what they want to see. Now, of course, can he take a punch from Wilder? Can he take a body shot from Wilder? Can he take a jab from Wilder? But it's a but in this one. Now, it's a but. You got a younger Jerry Anderson. You got a more agile Jerry Anderson. He is a heavyweight, but he moves like a middleweight. And I think that would give Deontay Wilder problems. So that's a good name to have on your resume. But Deontay Wilder is standing at 6'6", and he's a little bit shorter. That doesn't mean anything, but he moves a little bit different than Wilder. So they want to make this fight, and I think they want to catch Deontay Wilder before he get out and get out for good. So, but yes, I think they're serious in making this fight, and I think Deontay Wilder, that will be a close fight. Now, of course, Anderson got a lot of youth on his side, and he fight a lot. So, I mean, let's see it.
Yeah, man.
So,
That's a tough one because that's my favorite young up and coming fighter, man. Jared Big
yes,
Baby
sir.
Anderson. But
Yeah,
listen,
man. Yeah, he bad.
no
Mhm,
protection playing over here. It's gonna come down to
mhm,
if he get caught by Deontay Wilder right hand. Like if
mhm.
Wilder catch him with the right hand, can he take it? Ain't nobody been able to take it. Fury damn near 300 pounds. He kept getting put on his ass. So, but I think Anderson clearly, like he'll have better movement. He'll have the better boxing skills. He'll have the better hand speed. So
Mhm,
he'll have success in a fight with Deontay Wilder. But the thing is, can Wilder take what Anderson is bringing and vice versa? But that's one of those fights kind of similar to where you could see Anderson outboxing him and
mhm,
beating him, but you can also see Deontay Wilder, somewhere in the middle of the fight, probably losing 5 rounds to 0, and then catching him with the right hand, and then boom, the fight's
mhm,
over. The fight's over with. So I wouldn't mind that fight. I wouldn't mind that fight at all. I think it's we'll see if Bob Arum is serious about making it. You got to take what he say with a grain of salt. He likes to use and he did this with Terrence Crawford. He'll find a big name from one of his fighters in the division and just attach him to him, right? So he'll
right.
attach Terrence Crawford to Earl Spence. He attached Lomachenko to Tank Davis, and now it seems like he attaching Jared Anderson to Deontay Wilder. So using other fighters to promote your fighter is something that we see in boxing all the time. And it's something that is
Mhm,
expected, and I wouldn't mind seeing that fight. That would be a great fight. Let me go to this because Gary Russell Jr.'s site, he was talking about his injury, and I want to ask you about his injury. So this is what he says. He says, let me find it here. He says, I believe I have a torn tendon in my right shoulder. I haven't competed in almost 2 years. This is what true champions do. I wanted to step into the ring and display my superiority regardless of the injury. I hurt my shoulder about 2 weeks ago, but I went through with the fight because I'm a true champion, which is what warriors do. I'm going to fight regardless of what the situation is. I refuse not to compete and display my skill sets to my fans. The people that came out to show support and love, please believe that I will be back. I still want these fights. I believe in my skill set and I want to bring it into the ring. I felt like I still won the fight, to be honest with you. Hell yeah, I want a rematch. Would Magsayo, would he want a rematch? That's the question. So,
mhm,
not really making a lot of excuses, but
mhm.
as far as his injury, do you think that that's something that's going to hinder him? Do you think he'll be out for an extended period of time? What do you think of this whole injury surrounding him, and is that an excuse as to why he lost the fight?
Well, no, it wasn't an excuse that's why he lost the fight, and it's no excuse. But I would like to see him and get a rematch, get another shot at it. Now, of course, make sure you take care of everything. Now, no fighter is going into that ring 100%. They never do because either their hands are hurting from hitting the bag or their legs are cramping from running. I mean, arms are sore from lifting weights, whatever the case might be. But I want to see the healthy, perfect fighter, Gary Russell, before he leaves, before he retires. That's what I want to see. But I do not think that that if he doesn't get the rematch comes, I think what's going to happen. Now I'm not for sure. They're not going to allow him to have the rematch. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
going to block. I think they're going to block that rematch. That's what I believe. But when Gary move up, that's the best thing he should do. Move up. And also, if I was him, I'd go another route. I'd get out of the PBC look, you got a lot out of me since 2014. I'm talking about sanctioned body fees. So let me move on to the IBF or someone like that. Gary got options if y'all believe it or not. Now, this is the thing about it. When you have a belt, but you have the name, you got options. You got
Facts.
options. So and if he moves up to 130, he will be on the fast track. I'm talking about the fast track, and that's what I believe. So,
Yeah.
now, what was the other? Do you have part two of that question?
No, I just wanted to see what you
Okay.
thought of him. Because you got a lot of fighters that make excuses when they get injured and shit, but he didn't make any
Oh,
excuses.
yeah.
And I
Well,
guess
I'm sorry.
I guess too, like if he was injured 2 weeks ago, are you cool with him still going through the fight, or would you have rather him maybe try to see if he can postpone it and try to heal up, or what's going on? But just your
Okay.
thoughts on the injury as a whole.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to. That's what I was gonna say. But look, 2 weeks out. That's not enough time. I mean, you already got the networks. Deposits already been put down. Can't get it back. You got the fight already set to go. Unless COVID. Now they make exception for COVID now. Oh
Yep.
yeah, they can. They make exception for COVID. Now they will replace you with COVID. Then get you out there and replace you. But 2 weeks, I mean, that's too much in it, and everything. But I would have some kind of therapy or once I get through sparring, whatever, have somebody, look at that shoulder, rubbing down. You might have to have surgery. I don't know. But you're gonna have to come up with some type of defense to pretty much negate or pretty much offset that bad shoulder or bad arm.
Mhm.
That's what he didn't have time to do. All he had time to do was train himself, and that's it. Now, of course, he got that shoulder hurt, I believe, in the fight because when he threw that right hand, you can see as the
Yeah, he
replay
must
go, right,
wobbled out a little bit, like damn, that shit was already hurting you. Yeah.
right. Then when he threw the punch, he bent his wrist because when I was younger, I hit someone and fractured my arm. But that shit goes all the way up to your the miss, where your arm been at when you hit somebody like that. That
Hmm.
hurts. That bring your knuckle back and everything. Especially if you swing it hard. Now, but as a true champion, like a true champion always do, they fight through it. And I believe Gary Russell fought through it last night. Now, of course, like I say, he was on the back foot. He was doing a lot of lateral movement, one shot at a time. So he survived. He survived,
Yeah.
and that and that was a good thing. And he had a great defense. So there you go. So
Man,
uh,
this is my opinion on it, and some of y'all might agree, some of y'all might disagree. Listen, if he injured himself out 2 weeks before the fight, let me tell you something. He didn't put no money down on the venue. PBC did. He wasn't responsible for the promotion and shit. That's PBC job. As a fighter, you're responsible for yourself. So if I'm injured 2 weeks out and I know I'm compromised, like I
mm,
understand the whole warrior shit, but at the end of the day, ain't
mm,
nobody gonna care about that. You gotta read the tea leaves, and you know they trying to get that belt up off you anyway, bro. You know they trying to get that belt up off you anyway. They've been keeping you inactive. They've been
mm,
they've been they've been blackballing you is what's coming out of your team and your side. They've been doing all this shit to you. So if I'm injured, bro, I'm like, look, Al, look, Floyd, whoever.
mm,
Here's what the doctor said. I've already sent a copy to the WBC.
mm,
I gotta pull out this fight. Y'all gotta find him another opponent. I'll fight the winner when I'm healed up. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Or if y'all want to
right,
postpone it, y'all can postpone it. Or if y'all want to make Matias the main event, that's on y'all. But I don't give a damn. My shoulder hurt, bro. And here's the
right.
proof that it's hurt. I ain't lying to y'all. Here's the proof
Mm,
that it's hurt. Here's
mm.
what Dr. Kevorkian or whoever the doctor he decided to go to, the best shoulder specialist in the
Work.
DMV. You take that shit and you give them the paperwork. You go to the WBC. You say, look, bro, look, don't strip me, all right? Don't strip me. I was about to fight. I'm gonna fight very soon, but I can't fight with one arm, Mauricio. Here's the paperwork on that shit too. Here's the doctor that signed off on it. And you get all your ducks in a row, and then you say, you know what? I'm gonna be in the stands and I want the winner. But damn it, I ain't finna fight injured. Cause guess what? Guess what's going on today? Don't nobody care about that shit. I see people in the chat right now. Pigeon Mike Tyson shitting on Gary Russell. Right now, I see him shitting on him. He don't care if you injured, bro. He don't give a damn about you being injured. All them people that's talking about, oh, Gary lost, he was overrated. The division can finally move on. They can do this, they can do that. They don't give a damn about you, bro. So why do you care about being some sort of warrior, some sort of soldier when your ass is not 100%? Like I'm shit, not me.
Facts.
Not me. I'm looking out for knockout. I'm looking out for missed knockout and all them other 3 little babies in their sleep. If it ain't got nothing to do with them, man, I don't care what y'all got going on. I'm doing what's best for me and mine. And what would have been best for Gary Russell Jr. and his family and himself is that if he was injured, you provide your paperwork to people and you say, look, man, I'm injured. Look, I understand y'all got the venue. I apologize. This boxing, I can't control this shit. I was training and I hit the bag wrong in my shoulder. You know what I'm saying? Shit, it messed up. Or I was in sparring and I did something to my shoulder and the shit messed up. I'm out, y'all. I'm out. Here go the paperwork. Y'all figure that shit out. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I see y'all when I'm healed up. Doctor said I need surgery. I'm going to get my surgery. So I won't even be there. Matter of fact, when I do come to the fight, I got a sling on my arm and shit. Okay? I got a sling on my arm and shit, I ain't 100%. Sorry, y'all. Shit happened. Y'all was cool. Listen, I'm an Earl Spence Jr. fan. Y'all was cool when Earl did it 1.5 weeks, 2 weeks out before the fight. Y'all was cool with that shit. I've been a champion longer than him. So what we really talking about? Are we talking about favoritism? Are we talking about biased? Is that what we're talking about, guys?
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on? He hurt, I'm hurt. What's the difference? Y'all didn't make him go forward with the shit. Why I gotta go forward with the shit? So that's what I think about it, man. That's really all I got. Like I said, if you hurt and clearly it affected you, man, you don't get out there and fight because they don't give a damn. They wasn't even willing to give you a rematch clause, but you gonna try to go be a warrior for them to keep the show going? Shit, I wish I would. But that's all I got on it, man. That's like I would have loved for him to be able to fight 100%. But the moment that he told me he was injured, man, that if y'all want to know like why I really picked Magsayo, the moment that he said he was injured, and I know Gary Russell Jr. ain't no liar, I knew the shit was more serious than what he was leading on, and it showed in that ring, man. And so that was the real reason why, like, nah, I can't. I got to go with Magsayo on this one. But he shouldn't. If he was injured like that, man, he shouldn't even fight. I wouldn't have fought for them. Shit, I wouldn't have fought. Yeah, he says Bobo, the doctors wouldn't clear Spence. I think Earl still wanted to fight. That's cool. Well, if I'm Gary Russell Jr. and I'm hurt, I'm gonna go find a doctor that won't clear my ass. I'm going straight to the doctor. Oh, my shoulder feel right. Shit, they give you a doctor's note. They give you a doctor's note. They'll write that shit down, man. If you ain't feeling right, shit, boy, I wish I might risk everything I work for trying to keep some money in somebody else's pocket. Man, hell no. Nah. But that's all I got. I could talk on that shit all day.
Yes, sir. Now, I don't know how much time we got left, but
we're a little bit over.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to touch on this. The lawsuit. Okay, I know everybody's talking about it. I know everybody covered every aspect, every inch of this lawsuit. But right now, Tim Bradley, Andre Ward, a lot of other fighters, it's not standing by Terrence Crawford. They're not standing by him as a fighter, as a friend. So now, what do you think is going on? They think he's wrong. They think that maybe inside, because we're not inside, so we don't know. But maybe, just maybe it's the people around him that's giving him bad advice. And then also, he's in a situation where, you got to show me, you got to show the court how and how is he racist racially biased. I mean, why? Because you had the Manny Pacquiao fight and he took it back. And he just a cheapskate. That's all. But that's not racism. So, I mean, what you think and what you believe that Bob Arum has done, aside being a scam, aside being the dirty ass that he is, what has he done to Terrence Crawford to make him say he's a racist? Is there something behind the scenes? I don't know. What you think, Knockout?
Man, so the thing with the lawsuit, like, what can he prove? What can he not prove? I don't really know. But here's what I say: the people that's taking up for Bob Arum, you think about who they are. You think about Andre Ward, Tim Bradley. You think about Ali's daughter, was Rashida Ali is her name
Right.
or whatever, right?
Yeah, we
And then
see.
you think about like it's just self-preservation at its finest. They like shit. Who they employ? A top rank, and
That's right.
indirectly he employed Rashida Ali because her son Nico Ali Walsh, he got to fight next week. He
Yeah.
got to fight. He got to fight next week. He gonna be on the card next week against some bum, and they gonna be big up in him as Muhammad Ali grandson and shit, and they
Right.
gonna be trying to sell him. So all of them are like,
Special
shit,
attraction. Special
yeah,
attraction.
all of them like, shit. Terrence, he could have called you a NIG with the ER on the end. He could have called you that shit, but we can't mess up our pockets, bro. Well, hey,
Right.
bro. Listen, I gotta. If I'm Tim Bradley, I gotta call these fights, bro. I don't know shit.
Mm.
Hey, man, I can't do much else but call these fights. If you Andre Ward, like, hey man, look, hey, I gotta call these fights too, bro. They letting me call these.
Yeah.
Look, they letting us call these hoes from home. They letting us work remotely to call these hoes. I got a good deal over here, bro. I can't mess this shit up, Terrence. Like I don't know what to tell you. And so
Right.
I think they just all trying to, preserve themselves and do what they do. As far as the lawsuit, man, look, we've been talking about it a lot. I'll leave it at this with Terrence Crawford. And for all of y'all, you don't never sign a deal that you know the other party can't agree to. I don't care what it is. If you reading some shit and you get to a certain point in the contract where they can't fulfill that shit and you know they can't fulfill that shit, you don't sign that shit. And as a result, now he in court. And if you ask me what I'm talking about the part where he let Bob Arum guarantee him an Earl Spence fight. You know what I'm saying? Like you let him guarantee you an Earl Spence fight when he don't have no control over Earl Spence. Somebody should have caught that shit. Somebody should have saw that shit, bro. Earl Spence is an Al Heyman fighter. He fights under the PBC. How the hell you gonna allow your promoter to guarantee you a fight with him when he has no control over him? So that's why they in court right now, because you signed a bad deal, bro. And ain't no telling if that was in the deal, ain't no telling what else is in the deal, man. So overall, does he have a case? Does he not have a case? I am 100% behind Terrence Crawford. And I hope he wins and gets everything from Bob Arum that he could possibly get. Do I think he's gonna win? I don't know, because all they did was file the shit. We'll get more documents and shit will come out as they start going through the litigation and shit. But Bob Arum, this is some shit they can drag out because he'll keep this shit in litigation. And Terrence Crawford ain't worth more than Bob Arum. Bob Arum, these big people like that, they'll drag some shit out and just make you have court costs upon court costs upon court costs until you just like, man, forget it. This shit is worth more trouble than it's costing me more than what it's worth. So we'll see, man. But overall, everybody that's speaking up on Bob Arum's behalf, they getting paid from him in some way, whether it's directly or indirectly. So they ain't gonna speak against him, which is expected, which is sad because people ain't shit get real. You find out who your real friends are if some shit really pop off and you need them to take up for you and it can affect their shit. You'll find out they ain't really your fans because they gonna look out for themselves first and foremost. So it is what it is.
All right. Good talk.
Yes, sir.
Talk. Yes, sir. I appreciate everybody came in here. We got over 108 people in here. Make sure you smash the like button. Make sure you show Knockout Boxing 86 TV some support. All right. His Cash App is rolling down at the bottom as we speak. He's working hard. He's grinding. He added another night on great boxing talk on Friday nights. So he is putting in the work. You got a lot of commentators. You got a lot of content creators that will talk the talk, but don't put the work in and walk the walk. He's doing that. He's doing that at a young age. I'm talking about younger than me. That's why I'm saying young age. But please show him support. His channel is growing and it should be up way better than what it is right now. So show the brother some support. All right. Because I won't be rocking with him if he didn't if I didn't see no great boxing potential in him. So hey, I tip my hat off to him because he's juggling boxing, he's juggling videos, he's juggling his wife, he's juggling his job. So I mean, this ain't easy. This ain't easy at all. So please don't worry about KQ. All right, let's worry about Knockout Boxing. Let's help him out. Let's get him up there where he need to be. All right, because he got great boxing mind. So let's show him some love. All right, and I appreciate everyone everyone that came in today. We had a
Yes,
great
sir.
night of
Great
boxing.
show.
Yes, sir. We had a great night of boxing. We had a great show today. And like I say, this is a show where you can be objective. All right. You're not going to get blocked. You're not going to get timed out. Everybody has an opinion. Everybody allowed to express their opinion. So with that, I appreciate you all. And we're going to do it again next Sunday. All right.
And
But you
real quick, salute to
Mhm.
W_ right side in that Cash App. I appreciate you, and salute to my brother Zulu Line in that Cash App. I appreciate both of you brothers. Thank you so much for supporting me, man. I appreciate that. And y'all find me right here, Knockout Boxing 86 TV. Y'all go over there and subscribe, man, if you haven't already.
That's right. Yeah, show him the love, cuz he knows boxing. And Ricky E245, he also is in the Cash App. He said Nico Wash is the one who needs to retire. Not Gary. Not Gary Wash. Hey,
Hey, he ain't gonna be shit. Ricky, he ain't gonna be, man. Listen, no disrespect. He ain't got it, homie. He ain't gonna be shit. They gonna keep him, they gonna keep making him beat up janitors, school bus drivers, and taxi drivers, all kind of shit, man.
That's what he is. You know, he's an opening act type guy, you know, to get y'all warmed up, right? That's all.
Somebody don't know what they're trying to do is trick somebody don't know no better. Oh shit, Ali grandson. Shit, let me go ahead and buy that shit right quick. I'm gonna watch this shit. Then you like, ah man, it's a bullshit.
Yeah,
trick somebody, man.
She's talking about facts, Ricky. Look at it.
Yeah, man, he garbage.
Right. Yes, sir. But once again, I am KQKC, and yes, I will be live once again tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Central Time, and you can catch Knockout Boxing. Yes, sir. He's coming back Wednesday night.
Yep, Wednesday night, Friday night, and Sunday morning, right here with KQ, man. So y'all come check me out.
Yes, sir. Make sure you check him out. And yes, I'm eating crow today. And yes, Knockout Boxing is on a diet today. So
another undefeated week, second undefeated week in a row. And I need y'all to go over there and talk shit to y'all. Go check out my show Friday. It was a lot of people talking shit to me, y'all. And I see some of them live right now. So I'm about to, when I leave here, I'm hopping in chats talking shit. So I hope nobody take it personal.
Okay, but I appreciate everybody. Okay, thank you all for rocking with us. And like I said, we had over 100-some people here today. And like I say, make sure you check out Knockout Boxing 86 TV and KQKC Boxing Network. I thank you all. I want everyone to have a great Sunday evening. All right. So with that, I am out of here. And any last words, Knockout?
Nah, man, that's all I got. I appreciate you as always. Great show. Everybody in the chat, we appreciate y'all, man. Y'all smash a like on the way out of here if you haven't already, and enjoy your Sunday, man.
All right. Well, that'll be it. And got Stormy B, man. He's coming up next with his call-in show. And one more thing. Once again, Kurt Anderson, the historian, once again told me to tell you all hello, and he love you, and he'll be back soon. Okay, so just want you all to know that. I spoke to him yesterday, so I just thought I'd let you know. All right. So with that, I'm out of here. Peace and love to everybody.
Peace out.
Mm-hmm.